So we gathered here today to reminisce, to honor, to tell stories about Big Mama, Big Daddy, Aunt Constance, and Uncle Fred, because those of us who had experiences with them, the stories about them live on through us. And if we don't share it with our children, then their stories will die. Like when people pass on, if they don't get a chance to tell their story, then their story is gone, right? So this is oral tradition. A lot of families, I don't think they do this, but I felt it was important for us to do this because we have such a rich legacy and such a rich heritage. Yeah, we do. And it's important for y'all to know this. Madison, Gastar, Trev, all of y'all need to know this. Like this is, this man right here, he knows some stuff, not just about this family, but about Whitehaven.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, Whitehaven has a lot of issues. But the reason these houses were built, as y'all heard me say yesterday, our daddy and his brother were real close. They had lived across the driveway from each other, practically all their lives, everywhere they lived. But they were the one that farmed over in Whitehaven. And there were 4 houses that went with the land. My daddy had one, his brother had one, their mother and father had one, and their mother's sister had one.
Okay, so say it again. So Big Daddy had one.
Big Daddy had a house. Uncle Bud, we
Okay.
Uncle Bud, his brother had one. Their parents had one.
Okay.
And their aunt, their mother's sister, and her daughter had one. Those 4 houses went with the property.
So for those who don't know, we're talking about where the Southland Mall is right now. Okay?
Yeah. And that's where they started, but in maybe 47 or so, they started building these houses over here.
Over here? Okay.
They started building these houses. And one day, the boss, Mr. Hale, that owned the property, most of all the property in Whitehaven.
You said Mr. Hale?
Mr. Hale.
Okay.
J.W. Hale, he was a county commissioner. But he and Daddy, they had good relationship.
Okay.
White and black, they had good relationship. Now his son was different. He
Okay.
was contrary. They wouldn't deal with the son, they dealt with the dad. But anyway, Mr. Hale, they went to his general store, that's what generally everybody bet on that day. So he said, I heard you boys building some big houses over there.
Talking about over here?
About here. He didn't know. I guess he got worried and he came back. He said, I heard you boys building some big houses over there. And they said, yeah, Mr. Hale, you know, we getting old, we're not gonna be able to rent all our lives. And we know you're not gonna let us stay on your property if we're not farming.
Okay.
So we built a house and our mother and all what have you. He said, what? You're doing the right thing. You're supposed to take care of your mom.
Oh, wow.
So he took it good, but like I said, at the time, the race relationship was real good. And Mario may remember all that you see across the street was nothing but a field. So that subdivision across the
over here,
right here, across the street. All of that was originally built for whites. And you know what they were going to do? They were building a house and they were going to turn the back to the people, the black people that were already living here. They had to go to court to make them turn the house around and face.
Oh, really? Y'all feel free to stop and ask questions. Because I know I'd be the one like, ooh, what happened? Okay, so y'all feel free to do that. Okay.
But that road out there was the rock road. And when people would pass through, it'd be dusty. And say, Big Dad and his brother went to Mr. Hale and said, Mr. Hale, we need you. Can we get you to a blacktop? And he explained about the dust. He explained about the dust and all that. Say, Mr. Hale told him, say, boy, seem like y'all come to come to me for everything. Come on in, baby.
Come on in. Wow.
Yeah, I'm over here. Yeah, here
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. He said, of course, there will come up a white they call grown men boys back in those days.
Okay.
And he said, well, it seems like you all come to me for everything. And you know, Big Dad was always a calm man himself. Big Dad, yeah, Mr. Hale, we came to you because we know you could get it done.
Okay. Okay.
And shortly thereafter, this was one of the first streets running in a black neighborhood that were blacktop in that area. All the rest of them was gravel.
Rock.
Yeah,
Hmm.
And believe it or not, Dad and his brother said they moved to Memphis so that their children could have a school, to high school to go to, which was Jesus School. See, in North Mississippi, there wasn't a high school. Hunana, they didn't have black high school. A lot of those children in Mississippi would use a fake address with somebody living in Memphis,
We
not
still do
Memphis,
that
the county, but living up here, and go to school, Jesus School. So a lot of your cousins and all that, our home house down in that Mississippi, came to Jeter.
Okay.
Was Jeter an all black school?
Jeter was all black. Started, I think, in Gwen, get in here. But
Hey, Gwen.
it was in the early 30s.
It was a truck.
But it was in the early 30s. But what y'all may not know, Big Mama graduated from Jeter.
Oh, really?
Big Mama graduated from Jeter.
Wow.
Sure did.
It was on back then.
Yeah, she graduated from Jeter. And I think shortly thereafter, when she married, and Constant was the first child. And I think Uncle Commodore had been here a little before Daddy.
That's too bright, man.
He had a house on Shepherd Drive.
Okay. Are we situated now with the equipment? No, that's too. Does it need to be somewhere? That light is bright.
You can
I'm
turn
sure
it
it can be
down.
turned down. Yeah.
It can be turned
It
down.
might be a knob on that.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Hey, man.
It's not on, right? It is on.
Yeah, it's on.
No, you
It's fine. But you know, or you can go that way, ain't dark. You walk across real quick. Come on, Mom. But since ain't when are you done eating?
Oh,
Are you still eating?
No, I was feeding the baby.
Okay. Go ahead and feed your baby.
Put my hands.
Okay.
got a question. This is a
I
question.
was trying to remember, do you remember exactly what year Jeter started?
Hold on up here. Why don't we just look it up?
Yeah, you can look it up.
I do it on hand.
Huh?
I do it on hand.
You don't hand.
No, I get the whole history book.
But out of the family, out of the 8 children, Diane and I were the only two who had spunk. The rest of them was.
They were a little slow. Is that what you're trying to say? Me. First one of the night.
They were spunk. So, not only did we think out of the box, Diane and I would get out of the box.
Oh, okay.
We didn't stay within the parameters.
Okay.
So I do have a question now.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I think on the video that you did with the sisters, somebody mentioned, I might be getting all my days mixed up, but somebody mentioned, where was you yesterday? That Big Daddy being principal in, was it?
In
In
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Okay, so how much do you know about that? Because I had no idea, and I thought that was so interesting, and how that even happened.
Well, in those days, like I say, in Mississippi, especially, I think Dad graduated 8th grade, I believe. But for a while, he ended up being the principal. But see, they wasn't that concerned about black education.
He was the principal of Jeter?
No,
Oh.
of a school.
Oh, it's school in Mississippi.
Oh, school in Mississippi.
And I think the school was called Moon Hill, Moone, I believe it's the way it was spelled. But like the home, how many of y'all been to the home church? Halliburton.
Yes.
Yeah, Mama stayed
Back
there.
up, all the churches had school. That you know what the school was, you know, up to the 7th, 8th grade, up that far as they went. And it was in the It was in the mid-50s before Hanana Central was built for blacks in Hanana, Mississippi.
Okay.
The first would have been the first black in DeSoto County for blacks.
Okay.
And Big Daddy was, of course, he was worked for the railroad.
Mm-hmm.
He was a school bus driver, and of course, was a carpenter. They built
Okay.
all these houses and farmed them, so they were multi-talented.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all know what Collierville is?
Mm-hmm.
Almost to Collierville, to the Mississippi state line, to roughly where Mallory is, to the river. All those children came to Jeter.
Oh, really?
They were bused to Jeter.
Because it was the only.
Jeter was the only black school in South Shelby County. I'm trying to think of the next closer one would have been Mount Pisgah in Caddo.
Mm-hmm.
But that,
Who can sit
Yeah,
there?
I'm
Sit.
Moses, come on.
but
John,
that
they can't sit in the middle.
But that-
In the middle.
Mount Pisgah wasn't Mount Pisgah didn't graduate that first class until the early 60s.
Okay.
So they let you know how long.
Go ahead.
Now the north side of Shelby County was Woodstock.
Mm-hmm.
Woodstock was a training school, they say.
Mm-hmm.
Woodstock had pretty much everything. They had a dormitory that children around Shelby County could go stay in their dorm
Okay.
and do the work on the campus.
Uh-huh.
But Betty Higgs, because that, they lived in Collierville, but she went to Woodstock, she said, and stayed in her dorm.
Okay.
I think she worked on campus to get them out. But Jeter did not play. They didn't play city schools, maybe one school or so, but they weren't in the same. There were county schools and there were city schools.
Okay.
And we were playing Woodstock, Mount Pisgah, Barris Chapel, which was in Bartlett, in the Bartlett area.
Okay.
And we played at school up to Ripley. As far as Ripley, we were playing school.
Okay.
Jeter, Dr. Fall, the principal of Jeter, he and his students laid the bricks for the first building at Jeter School. The first brick building they had, the principal and his students laid the
Laid the
Laid the
foundation, huh? Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
So tell us again what year this house was built.
they were, like I said, I think they started building probably 1947, and we moved here in 1950.
Okay.
Our uncle, our grandmother, before they finished here, they had a couple room finished. Our grandmother moved over there before we moved here. And I think our uncle moved there a little before we did, but we was here in 1950.
Okay. Okay.
Did y'all walk to jail? Or y'all granddaddy drove the bus, huh?
So what, did we have to walk
To school?
Oh, yeah. But look, we had to walk to school from Whitehaven on the mall.
Oh, from there to Jeter.
We had to walk from there to Jeter, but we were too close here. I close the bus. Now, Big Daddy Rob was here,
Uh-huh.
so we could go out there. He stopped to pick us up.
Okay.
But we were supposed to be riding the bus where we live.
Okay.
It just so happened coming in from other routes further out, because he would stop and pick us up.
Uh-huh.
Now in Whitehaven, when we was in the mall, he had a pickup truck. If we wasn't working, he would come through Whitehaven, not only with us, but he would pick up children in Whitehaven
In the pickup truck
in the pickup truck.
and take y'all to Jeter. Okay. Jonathan has a question.
Yeah. My mama said something about when Big Daddy and his brothers were building this house, of course they weren't allowed to, at that time, for I guess black folks to do that. So they used to wait till nighttime to take the wood from wherever they were going to come build a house at night.
Well, I think what she was saying is they didn't want necessary that the landowner where they were living to know they were building
Okay.
the house.
Because he was
And
gonna
I
lose
said,
that,
you
that money.
may not hear me, that was the general store where Walgreens is now on every track. Except it wasn't that far back, because it was directly on the highway. The sidewalk, you got a sidewalk you walked into the store, that was the general store. The landowner, J.W. Hale, they called him the mayor of Whitehaven. Of course, there was no mayor, but he was, y'all heard of Boss Crump?
Mr. Crump.
He was Boss Crump's right-hand man for the county. So they called him the mayor of Shelby County. He was the one that established the Penal Farm. You know about the Penal Farm? They used to raise, they were self-contained. Everything that they needed was, they had cattle, they had garden, everything was done on the Penal Farm for the inmate. And he was instrumental in establishing that.
Okay.
But like I said, our dad had a good working relationship. Our dad and uncle had a good working relationship because you did what you had to do, and they knew how to deal with white. So dad was a schemer within his own right. Go ahead.
I was going to just add a little bit to what Earl was saying about them building this house. Pretty much the same thing that Earl told. But I was around Mama quite a bit more than they were because I was still living in Memphis, even as a grown person. And it was shared with me that, like Earl said, Dad and them built this house in secret. There was a reason for that, a plan for that. And from what I understand, they had moved their families over here quite a while before the man that owned that property, Mr. Hale, knew about it. And when he found about it, he approached Daddy and was kind of, I guess, insinuating that Dad and them did something behind his back. As a matter of fact, from what I understand, Daddy didn't bank. Hale owned the bank and stuff in Whitehaven. Pretty much he knew everything going on in Whitehaven. So they didn't even bank with him as far as their money and stuff, so he wouldn't know their business. And so they built this house without him knowing and moved out without him knowing. From what I understand, they were here for a while. And when Mr. Hale approached him about it, in his way of, you have to kind of know about the relationship back then. Fred, I didn't know that you all had built and stuff and moved out. And said, Daddy told him, said, well, Mr. Hale, I don't think that our children want to continue farming. And
Okay.
so we felt that when we got old and all our children are gone, then, and we could no longer farm this land, you would want us to move out so that the new sharecroppers could move into the homes that they were living in. So we were preparing a place for ourselves so that when we got to the point where we couldn't farm and didn't have the children to help us and stuff, we'd have somewhere to live. And the way I heard that Mr. Hale responded, he laughed, just kind of funny laugh, said, Fred, said, that was a wise thing to do, Fred. So he was always looking for with an 8th grade education.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I put around there. They put the mama in it too, said our mother, and he said, yeah, you're supposed to take care of your mother. Y'all know it's a good thing. So, like I said, the relationship, they had a good working relationship with the daddy, but he had a junior that was a lawyer that sort of had, one leg was shorter than the other. He had a one shoe like this. And it was like he was bitter at the world, so.
He was mad because
He was
something
just
wrong.
mad, yeah, he was just an angry man, yeah.
So going back a little bit, maybe you said it and I missed it. How did Big Daddy get access to the land? This
Well,
land?
They had bought the land before they built it, quite a while before they built. I can't remember the exact time, but I have the deeds. So it's there, and have some contracts on the cotton that they grew. Now they wasn't sharecroppers; they would rent the land, and they rented the land here. Every 3 bales, they got 2, and the landowner got 1.
Okay.
So it wasn't sharecropping per se, like the old days. And Daddy And y'all mother, all of y'all parents have some pictures somewhere of your great-grandmother's sister and her daddy. And I have it listed generation down. So they had, all of them, I made copies and gave every sister and brother have it. They may not know where to find them,
Yeah.
but they have it. And it showed three of your great-grandmother's sister, with the three, Aunt Ethel and a couple of others. And Aunt Ethel was the one that lived on the property with
Okay.
us, you know. Now you had a cousin, one of our cousin, daddy's sister, one of her son, the one named after Dad, Fred, we call him Ned. He stayed with Daddy and Uncle Bud in Whitehaven and helped them farm. He basically drove the tractor for them. And said after we moved, he was still staying in the house because we still were farming. And said the Hale Jr., the one I'm talking about with Contreras, you know, when farming wasn't going on, so he approached them and said, well, I need for you to rake for me to do something. Now our cousin wasn't mild now.
Okay.
And said, he told him, I'm gonna tell you, I don't wait for you. I'll wait for our dad's brother.
Okay.
So he backed off on that because we were still farming, we just wasn't living over there, the house was empty. Now be mindful, another thing, good move that they made. When you went down the drive to where Junior built his house on the same property. Now his house, where he built his house was here, coming off Everly Presley. To get to his house, you would have had to pass Daddy's mother and Daddy's house, which were here, and Daddy's house were here. You know?
Okay.
And they knew, so it's a good thing we knew, because we knew he was going to let these houses stay here for people visiting the country. And eventually they did, I think they told our grandparents' house down, Daddy's house, they moved further back off in the field. After we had moved, they moved further back in the field. So it was very interesting, and I was going to tell you, as I was talking yesterday, Big Daddy, of course y'all know the whole entire family love their children. And I was going to tell it until Gwen told me time out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, now I'm ready to hear it.
And I was going to tell it that you saw what the program said about the checkered flag that Fred got to get in heaven. And I was going to tell him that Fred was a big drag racer and Daddy's new car that he got.
Okay.
And one of our church members, Mr. On, the dad of one of Fred's friends, we were just talking to Daddy on one Sunday at church, and I don't think he thought he was spitting. He thought Daddy may have known him. He said, Fred? Said, yes, your son. They said, your son got the fastest car in the white world.
That's about free.
White and black. You know, the white boy could spend money. They paid to get that out. But Fred was beating them all.
Okay.
And Fred would tap the engine transmission thing, but I would tap the whole car.
Okay. So where would y'all drag? Where would they drag race?
On the streets.
Right here?
Not here. But
Okay. Just
on the
around.
street that wouldn't be in it.
Okay.
You know? And I would tell Castella that, and she denied, but I remember when Fred was quoting her, a man, one of Castella's schoolmates, had a new 56 Ford.
Okay.
And I think he and Fred both was afraid to fight each other. So they were going to settle the drag. and Fred beat him, so I told him that. He was the one
They gave him a little bit more
again.
favor when Castella.
And I was going to tell him that he had won, he had a many more checker flags before y'all, the one y'all talk about going to heaven. He won races at the drag strip and got the checker flags out also.
Earl was talking about Ned. Daddy's nephew that was named after Daddy. And I don't know if you mentioned not that Ned moved into one of the houses after we moved off the property and stuff, and said Hale
About the
Jr.
farm.
Well, Hale Jr. Approached Daddy and wanted, since Ned wouldn't work the farm, so Dad was still working, but he wasn't working it. And so Hale Jr. wanted Dad's nephew, our cousin, to move out so he could rent the houses out. And Daddy, being very diplomatic, told him, said, well, the understanding was that as long as we farm this land, the houses go along with the land. Again, I think it was Dad told me that Mr. Hale Jr. did that little funny chuckle that he does whenever he's been outdone. Said, well, Fred, I guess if I told you that, I guess I got to keep my word.
Okay.
And so Dad and them still had access to the houses on the land, even though we had moved out.
This is going on over here.
Yeah, I was telling over the distinction. That was Hale Jr.
Yeah, Hale Jr.
Hale Jr., the one with the short leg.
I told him they had a good working relationship with him. Oh man, Hale.
That's what he said. Okay, so how old? We're gonna move up a little bit. How old were you all when you started living in this house? Like, you know, everybody was, you know.
Well, Rufus hadn't started school.
You had
You
to start.
started school here, then you were right. I would have been, I don't know, first and second grade.
Okay.
Maybe 6 or 7 years old. And Fred had come a couple of years older.
Okay.
But that's where we were then.
Okay. And now we're going to move into the portion where we honor our ancestors, those who have passed on before us. And we're going to start with talking about our memories about Big Daddy first. Just if you want to share a particular story that stands out, that describes his character. And then we'll kind of go around the room for anybody that has a particular story about Big Daddy, and we'll do that for all our ancestors before we.
I'm gonna start with again what I was gonna say yesterday.
Talk in the microphone.
My brother Fred.
Okay.
I will talk about here in Castella. It was Fred had graduated, of course. Everybody in the neighborhood always said, "That's Fred's car." I didn't get credit for being my car. They thought it was Fred's car because
He was always driving.
drove it most of the time. But Fred had graduated. The Lord Eccles and one of my friends, our senior Dan, we weren't allowed to have proms. But our dates to the prom in the truck.
Okay.
Now be mindful, back in the day, there wasn't these good looking trucks, better drive than cars and look better than cars. Now the trucks in those days were farm trucks, working trucks. And I was gonna tell them that it was okay with me, cause I thought I was better looking at I was smoother than Fred anyway, so I could get my get in the truck.
Yeah, you didn't need no car. You could get your hair.
So I ended up getting her, I guess, because I married her. But I'm not sure if I won her, if she trapped me.
Well, let's go ahead and stay on Uncle Fred while we're on Uncle Fred. If you have a particular story about Uncle Fred you want to share?
Oh, he was a spoiled one, I was going to mention. Now, y'all are used to old folks all saying that what I cook is what you gonna eat, what's on your plate you eat. Fred was the only one I remember specifically. He didn't like cabbage, he didn't like squash, and he didn't like okra. And I can remember specifically, if it was something Fred didn't like, Mom would cook him a special.
He did, but she didn't do that for anybody else.
No.
Okay.
Well, and anybody asked, you know, I told you he was spoiled, it didn't bother me.
Okay.
And
He was firstborn.
your mother being one with spunk also, I think she was the first one. I think the first champagne or beer that the refrigerator saw was your mom, Diane. But that was, of course, after she had gotten, you know, and that like that, I think they said, Mama said something, Diane, is that? But that was all said just like Daddy in the car when he found out about the drag race. He didn't really, he didn't fuss, he didn't, because he had parameters, but he didn't tell Fred specifically, don't be drag racing.
Okay.
But our parents never provoked the children. The Bible said don't provoke the children. We was never provoked.
Okay. Anybody else have a story about Uncle Fred they want to share right now?
I just know I used to think that Uncle Fred was like rich because I think I remember. Did he have like a big RV or yeah, he had like a big RV and like we took a trip or something. I just remember I was like, man, they are rich. They have an RV and I don't know where we went. This might have been up the street or I don't know where we went. But I just thought that Uncle Fred was like rich. The RV. So.
Yeah.
But now, see, that's what a lot of the children thought about us. You can imagine this house back in the day. You can see it already larger than the houses over there. But it wasn't that many children that were living in houses like this. And you see this floor, it is beat up now compared to this house was had the pretty folk when we moved in than you could imagine. Our mother, we couldn't play. We wasn't banned from coming in, but we could not play, you know, in here.
In this room.
So, but yeah, and you know, George and got some of that furniture, old furniture. Big Dad was a big provider for his wife. She got pretty much whatever she wanted. But she said our daddy was so easy that one of the things that she was prayed for is that she didn't die while her children was young, because she didn't want to stepmom over her children. So that was her prayer, because she said Big Dad was so easy, he would let a woman do, you know, whatever.
So Tanya has a story.
No, just to piggyback on what Tiffany said about the RV. Excuse me. I can remember Uncle Fred Jr. taking us from their house to South Lamar in the RV for us to see the lighting of the Christmas tree, and it's like we went on a road trip. Because I don't think I know anybody else in my whole life who has ever had an RV but Uncle Fred Jr. And just him being the family mechanic. We never. I put that on Facebook. Car repairs was the least of our worries because we knew Uncle Fred Jr. could fix anything. Now I did stop him with that '79 Corolla my daddy bought me. He could not figure out whenever it rained, my car wouldn't start. But as soon as it dried up, it'll run. Now, that's the only car that probably stumped him. But other than that, yes, he was out of
On that RV, it had a bathroom in it, a toilet in the seat. And we didn't know when we were little, but we went in there to flush it one time, and you could see the road, you know, under the thing. So we went there one time flushing toys, couple things. So this car was going on the freeway, and come to find out, I think Uncle Fred, I don't know how he found out, but he was like, don't y'all do that no more, because he said I gotta replace I guess it's like a sewage tank that go under. So he had took it off to fix it.
Oh my goodness.
And we saw there wasn't under there, so I was like, yeah, when you flush the toilet, Yeah, he got one memory I remember. Two memories. One memory, he took all the boy cousins, me, Quincy, Justin, Eric, Anthony. I think all of us around that age. And one summer, every weekend, we went out of town somewhere. I think he took us down to, where you take us? Alabama one time to the submarines where they shot Under Siege with Steven Seagal. That movie. It was like 4 submarines down there. He took us down there on that trip, and he took us on like 3 other trips for the whole summer. I ain't understand it then, didn't know why, but I was just glad.
Yeah,
Somebody was taking us to do something.
He showed us how to read the road map.
Yep, taught us how to read the road map. All that whole trip. And he was racing that day. And I recorded the car in the, man, I was so excited that day. I had the camera, and he was racing his car. And then the car was in the side mirror, so I was like, ooh, Uncle Fred beating this dude. And then the second memory is joking on people. He was super funny. And I think we was over Uncle Earl's house. And he left a engine puller and a steel wool brush sitting on the table. The engine puller was like a iron piece, looked like that. But it looked like a hair and brush to me. So everybody was sitting around. I asked Uncle Fred, I was like, Uncle Fred Jr. And everybody just stopped and was listening. I was like, didn't Big Mama tell you not to leave your hairbrush and comb sitting on the table? And everybody cracked. And from that day forward, every time he saw me, he fired me up.
Until you fired up when your bait came along.
But I kind of dovetailed in on what people saying, talking about drag racing. Earl mentioned Mount Pisgah School, way out east. Country roads, 2-lane highways and stuff, trees on the side. And so Fred, Castella, myself, and there were 2 other passengers on the back, went to Mount Pisgah. And coming back in our 59 Chevy, Fred hit the passenger, shot around one of his friend's car. We were probably running 90 miles an hour or more. We looked, now I'm sitting on the passenger side on the front seat. Castella's in the middle on the front seat. And Fred, of course, is behind the driver's wheel. We looked ahead and we didn't see nothing but trees in front of us. Nothing but trees. It's dark and stuff. The headlight illuminated the tree. Fred somehow managed to make the curve. It was more like a turn than a curve. And when he came out of that curve, I was sitting in the middle. Castello was somewhere between the middle and Fred Jr. But he maintained control of that car. And the car that he passed, his friend told us when he went in that curve, the car leaned over so that they could see
Yeah, when their
the
friend was his
undercarriage.
brother, I was
But
in
they
the car.
you were,
I was in the car behind them.
okay,
Yeah.
they could see the undercarriage on the car. Leaned so when he went in that curve. But he was a good driver. It's ironic, you know, what happened, but yeah, he was a hound behind the wheel.
Any stories Uncle Fred run in with the police from
I got one. Sean just told me last week that it must have been recently, but he said Daddy was at a stoplight and he's notorious for taking off. If a car takes off before him, he hates it.
Oh my goodness.
So Sean said he got home and Dad told him that there was an undercover police. He didn't know it was an undercover police car beside him. So they both took off and Dad went ahead of him and I guess he must have sped, so the man pulled him over.
Oh wow.
And as my dad was talking, he was like, "You taught it for early." He was like, "Yeah." He let my dad go.
Dodge Ram pickup truck. He said it's an undercover Dodge Ram.
Yeah.
undercover Dodge Ram?
Speaking of taking trips, he took DeMarcus and Tyler to a drag race show just to take the 2 grandsons out. And I guess DeMarcus convinced him to take his truck out on the track and see what time it was. Yeah. So when he got back, there was a Mustang. My dad said the Mustang it surpassed. It just went past him. So when my dad came back up to the bleachers where they were sitting, he said DeMarcus looked up and said, "Granddaddy, you got smoked, didn't you?" And my dad was like, "I ought to make you walk home."
And excuse
Oh, the
my trouble
granddaddy?
because I'm a little emotional, so don't mind me. But I really love my granddad, so I'm trying to keep calm. So my grandfather was really good with teaching us a lot of stuff. And just like he said, he used to teach us how to read the atlas. He did that for me too. And I thought that was really cool because you don't really know a lot of women understanding cars like they were supposed to. And he really did a good job of trying to teach me. And in middle school, it was really interesting because I had a project and I was like, I had an idea. I don't know what made me want to build an engine, but my granddad was all for it. So I told him, and that was one of our bonding moments, and he cut off. We had this plastic tub we bought from Walmart. We went to Lowe's. We went everywhere, and he cut the pieces up together, taught me how an engine works.
And I thought that was like the coolest thing. And then something else. I think there was something before
He had
that
to make
too.
an instrument for 6th grade.
And
He had a tin tub, a wooden stick.
I think it was like a banjo or something.
I don't know what you guys call it, but it was a tub where you had the string to come from the stick that was inserted in the tub, and you would just flick it.
I know what you're talking about.
I've seen them on movies
I
where they
already-
would
On the old movies,
And it was so
They
funny.
help you with any type of project. It don't matter what it is.
And it was so funny because, like, in middle school, I used to get called, like, the teacher's pet or whatever because I always, like, tried to excel in what I did. And they didn't know my mom was a teacher, so I was just comfortable. I don't know what it was, but I just didn't really connect with students as much as I connected with teachers. But my granddad had me with the best projects. If I had a good grade, it was most likely because of my granddad. And there was another time where we went to Money, Mississippi to see where Emmett Till died. And it was so, because my granddad had a bad habit of calling GPSs GPAs. And that was a joke that we used to say all the time. But he always had the atlas in the back of his truck. But he tried to depend on that GPS and it got us lost. And we were all terrified. And my grandma, she kept on saying to my granddad, "You scaring the kids, what are you doing?" So we went to Money, Mississippi, and I was terrified that whole trip because it's like a ghost town.
Right.
You were terrified because we were in a cornfield, and
we
couldn't see anything behind us on the side of us. It's like we were just driving in the kind of remind me of Children of the Corn.
Yes, I was thinking about that movie while we were driving.
Really scared. And she could see my children was getting really, really scared. So she was yelling at him, "Get us out of here! You're scaring your grandchildren!"
And my brother, DeMarcus, he's really like a reflection of my granddad, like a modern version of my grandfather, because my brother loves to speed in cars, he loves to do everything. I'm not going to talk about everything he does, I don't want to get him in trouble. But it's funny because I didn't know this until recently, but my brother used to talk about all the intimate times he had with my grandfather, and he would say that my grandfather could predict what my brother was doing. So if he did something stupid, he was like, I knew what you were gonna do. And he usually tried to talk him out. But when my brother was, I'm sorry, I was talking a lot. But when my brother was little, he was so irritated with my grandfather because everybody knows he's a jokester. So it was one joke that would send him every time, and he would call my brother Peanut Head, and my brother would have a fit. He would cry. He would be so upset, and we'd be like, "Why do you keep letting him aggravate you like this?" And my granddad would keep on doing it because he was still just going on and on. But I love my grandfather.
Your granddaddy didn't first start off in the 57 Chevy that y'all talk so much about. But when we were kids, you know where Neely Road? That was a high hill at that time, and the next high hill was that hard, too high hill. Now, boys in that time, Fred and I made us a go-kart.
Y'all built one?
Built our go-kart. And lawnmowers, the old lawnmower had metal wheels on.
Okay.
The new one had rubber wheel, but all other guys had the go-kart with rubber wheel. But they didn't realize the rubber create drag.
Okay.
The old metal wheel would, but we get on that hill on Silver Drive, and he would beat everybody else that had a go-kart. And everybody else's had a fixed front wheel. They couldn't steer. But we discovered by accident how to make ours turn.
Okay.
There was a hill in the back of the house here, and there was a wagon parked below the hill. I came out the hill, went on the wagon, and hit the wagon, and it pulled all the nails out of the front.
Okay.
And it started pivoting.
Okay.
So then, Fred put the boat, so we had home, we
So
could
you knew
steer
how to
out. So he had always been that way. And you read the story about him driving the truck. You know, when he was 6 or so years sick. I don't think he was quite 10. He was so small. But when he bought that truck, everybody was just shocked.
Okay.
And when Big Daddy told him he could get it, they had no idea that he could drive.
Okay.
And here he come down the driveway in the truck.
It was a
Fred
God-given gift.
Yeah, he's always been a lover car.
We have a couple of more stories about Uncle Fred, then we're gonna move on to Aunt Constance.
Okay, so when you said the go-karts, you triggered a memory. So he took all of his grandchildren out, was it in Arkansas? And we went go-kart riding. And this is another time where he made my brother so mad. So we all drove the go-karts. My grandfather, he was starting to get in pain. So I don't think he rode one of the go-karts, but I think my father drove one. Tyler, Zoe had to sit with, I think, Uncle Sean. And then it was me, Jasmine, and DeMarcus, I think, in our own carts. And did I say Tyler was in his own cart? Yes. And to cut the story short, DeMarcus didn't get first place. And my grandfather got in my brother's butt. And it was so funny. My brother was upset for the entire ride. And then there's another story that I wanted to share, too. So I don't think my grandfather, well, I had two, and they're both short, so I'm not gonna be long. So there was this one time where it was me and my sister and brother in his truck, the truck that he has now. And it was one of the winter days where I don't know what street it was, but there was a bridge and it had iced over. And my grandfather, I guess, thought in his head, I'm gonna scare them or I'm gonna do something. And it was it's funny now to think about it, but we went on the bridge and he drifted. And all of the children in the car said, "Granddaddy!" And that was our little inside joke. So every time we see Granddad, we'd be like, "Granddaddy!" And he'll get a crack out of it. And then what was the other thing that I was going to say? It was really, I just had it right here. Hold on.
I look to him. No, go
Now, there's one thing I can say my dad is really good at. He's like the MacGyver of cars. Like, he'll figure something out rich or something. Like my wife, she says some stuff like my air wasn't working. I don't know if y'all remember I had that black Grand Prix. My air wasn't working one time, so he went to the fuse thing and he took 2 safety pins and he found like 2 slots where you insert it into the 2 slots. When they touch, the air come on. I'm like, what the? Then I would have another problem out of my ignition switch. Now my wife vouched for this. He did something. He installed some type of button switch. All they had to do was cut the ignition on, push that button, the car.
Okay, I remember. This is the last one. Wow. So, I think my grandfather, this was when he was starting to not want to drive as much, and he wanted me to take him to the store. So it was just me and him. And we went to South Haven. I didn't know why he wanted me to take him to South Haven. I guess he just liked the Walmart better out there. And I got him he really complimented me on my drive, and I thought that was really nice. And then we went into Walmart, and he talked to everybody in that Walmart. It was probably like a 10-minute trip, and we were in there for an hour. And he would say the corniest jokes, and I'd be like, Granddad, I couldn't push him because it was an electric ghost car, so I just had to sit there listening to his jokes. He did not run out. He did not run out of jokes.
Well, they cost.
Yeah.
Well, it seemed you can see the love for Fred, but that's because it's recent. But that was just as much love for our older sister as that was for Fred. She was she was Daddy's girl now, but she was just like Mama, easy going, and it wasn't anything that Daddy wouldn't do for her. But occasionally, if one of the children would come to him and ask to borrow some money, he made it clear. Now you borrowing it, I want to be paid back. Okay. Now he would give it to you if you asked him to give it to you, but if you said borrow, he expected to be paid back. Constance and her brother Fred Jr., when Constance was a baby, out in the field, Big Daddy bought her a Cocker Spaniel. Dog, a little dog. And Constance followed the Cocker Spaniel out into the field and the corn and they thought Constable lost. She was lost for a while.
What's a
How
while?
long is a while?
Oh, it was the same day, but I'm just talking about they didn't know exactly what she was when they missed her, but they found her. But yeah, Constance was sweet. Constance was our girl, and she always talked about her brothers all the time. She wouldn't take anything, anybody said anything about her brothers.
I personally remember always going over Aunt Constance's house, and it was always full of life. People were always in and out the door. It was like the neighborhood house, where everybody just went to hang out. And I'm sure Tanya can tell us stories because you were real close to Aunt Constance, if I remember. Of course, and Alfred's here, I see. But yeah, their house was just always full of life, and I just love to go over there. It was just so much color. You hear the most colorful language.
Yeah.
Okay. The most colorful language. Ooh, I hadn't heard that word before. And I remember so well Uncle Hoochie. He was just the most stylish man I had ever met, and him and Aunt Constance seemed like total opposites to me. And they remind me of my mom and dad. They just seemed like total opposites, and so I was always enamored by the love that they had for each other.
Now, Hooch Man and Diane would have been a good match. They had spunk.
Okay. Constance was quiet and meek.
Quiet one, quiet, mild mannered one. Yeah, but Constance was something else now. I remember. Long ago, they quick.
You passed to Africa. We tried.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say how Hooch Man, her husband, used to brag and tease all the other guys. He would always tell them, I married a teacher, I married an educated woman. She had graduated college, and I think she graduated while they were married. She had gone to a Russ College along with her cousin Amelia next door.
Okay.
And they got married, but Hoochie Man would brag to all his buddies. Yeah, my wife educated. Well, Big Daddy said that about Mama too, that he hadn't educated. Why? Cause she, at that time graduated high school.
Okay.
What many country children in Mississippi, especially, graduated in high school.
Memories about Aunt Constance from out here?
And
About my mother, I mean, too much I can really say about my mother, but she did a lot of things for me. Her, between, like I said, her and my father, they was. I always thought they weren't compatible. Cause Daddy like party and drinking, and then Mama stayed at home. And look up Mario over there, Tanya over there. Up in the party house or something. Even though growing up with Tanya in school, I would leave football practice, Dad talking about, go pick up Tanya. I said, oh, Tanya. Leave your school or somewhere. Pick up Tanya. Dad, Aunt Constance was a aunt, Dad about married, but Dad think Daddy carried more than Mama did. Go back and pick up Tanya. He said, well, John said, Uncle John had. No, you gonna drive my truck, you gonna go pick up Tanya. I go pick up her and then go pick up Scooter, but by the time I get home, it's 6, 7 o'clock at night, I can't drive no more. I get home, but my mother's fathers, they were real good people, and I love my mother and I love my father, both of them is in heaven with each other now, but they was, like I always say, my family had always been good, not just my mother and father, my aunts and uncles. One kind I can say, but she did love her brothers.
Yes.
So anything go down, she gonna call her brother. Like I tell Auntie, my first car, first person she called, Uncle Earl. Uncle Earl, we went down to that car dealership and he had this briefcase, had this calculator. Remember Uncle Earl? We tried to get the deal we wanted. The guy didn't give it to us, and we left. We went back, and we got back. The guy said, "We got it what you wanted." I think our girl said, "No, it's a new deal now, cause we left. We came back." I said, "Oh, Uncle Roll, he put that briefcase out." Oh man, our girl said she loved her brothers, man. I ain't gonna say about that. One day she loved Uncle Fred, Uncle Earl, even Rufus. She'll call him. Rufus a whole lot. I know she gonna call Fred Jr. and she gonna call Earl. I think I'm going to school with my. Yeah, he got this. We didn't see Uncle Rufus a whole lot. We saw him. We got our Big Mama house. We didn't see him a whole lot. You know, even on Uncle Fred. I tell him one time I was going to school and my car stopped. That's why I just tell folks all the time, man. I believe I got the best family in the world.
Yeah.
And my car stopped and I called Mom. We didn't have cell phones. I walked about 2 miles, went to the gas station, called Mom. I said, well, my car stopped on the road. She said, what you gonna do? I said, well, I called the wrecker to come get me. And my friend of mine was with me. And about an hour later, guess who said, man, there's a truck behind us. I said, who? I said, a truck behind us. I said, yeah, it was Uncle Fred. I said, man, what you doing up here? So your mama called and told your car stopped. Oh, he got there before the record got there. And at that point there, I said, man, I had to love my family. I mean, too many people do that. You know, I said one thing about Mama. She called Uncle Earl or Uncle Fred. They couldn't hurt. Even Uncle Rufus. He wasn't around like then. Rufus was young, though. He's still out there. And one thing, Uncle Fred Jr. coming. I was on the side of the road and he was there for the records got there. And fixed my car. We went through all those zones. We fixed my car. Going back to school. He said, call me, collect. That's basically, he said, call me, collect. I'll make sure you made it to school. And I called. I didn't call Mom. I think I called Uncle Fred. And he collect. I think Uncle Castello answered the phone. I said, collect call from Abbott. He answered. I said, I'm at school now. He said, all right, we good then. I think I rode that car about another 6-7 years. I think I gave that car to school to boot. Uncle Fred bought it. I ain't saying Uncle Fred bought it, but he went got it and Mama paid him for it. I had that car for a long time. Until school started riding that car. And that was like 10 years later.
One comes and Daddy was the closest. Because they
I think about 15 months apart, I'm thinking.
I'm talking about fathers. Close by brothers and sisters. What is it?
Well, they were the first two. Probably it's different. I call Mama was the oldest. Even that picture you saw, they did a slideshow. They were Big Mom, Big Dad, and Mama and Uncle Fred on the little baby picture. I think Mama might be 4 or 5.
That's it. Yeah.
I think because Mama had that picture. I remember that picture. And I thought Tammy had it on the screen.
And plus, my mama were really close.
Close,
Yeah,
They were the same age.
We stayed in the same area.
That's so funny, Mom didn't get it.
Mama and Daddy,
Yeah, you know. But you know, it's all brothers and sisters, you know. But you know,
But it's another picture floating around with Constant and Fred looking cute.
Coach. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Now the coach they had on Big Mama.
Yeah, I remember that picture. That's the picture I'm talking about. That's the picture right here I'm talking about.
They look like
I made some
store. So boy. But your Uncle Rufus now the whole different story.
Yeah, but you know, everything I said my mother, I guess she was sweet. I guess like Big Mama. Big Mama was the same way.
Yeah.
She got from her mother. Well, I guess all the sisters got from her mother. But, you know, you don't see that. I try to tell my girl, you don't see that in family too often. But I go around some family just.
One time I heard Mama raise the boys. Now Daddy would buy tri-state defenders with 15 cents back. So that was a pretty good little clip for paper back when I was young. But Big Daddy would buy the paper. I would take them to school, sell them to the teachers and all. And a lot of the teachers, even at that time, would charge them. They didn't have nobody to pay you 15 cents later. So I always had a pocket full of money. Big Daddy never asked for, I never did volunteer and give it to him. You know, I collected, but I never did volunteer and pay Big Daddy for it. He would buy the paper. But it was the same way with Fred Jr. The spoiled one. He would ask Big Daddy because he used the car. And Big Daddy say, oh, yeah. Fred Jr. would shuffle around there for a few minutes. And then he said, well, can I have some gas money? Now, man, when I asked him, when he said yes, I was gone. I had money in my pocket. I made my cousin Jeanette, we were classmates, all the girlfriends and all, and I would tell them I was hungry, needed lunch money. I would get quarters from them. Hot lunch was 25 cents. I would get money from them. So I always had my gas money. I didn't need that for gas money.
Everything's great. Love my family. I can't say that. In my new truck. I let y'all use my new truck, go to the prom. I said, I'll never do that. I don't want to pay for that truck. John did that. I think the exhibition just came out. That truck was like $40,000.
Wait a minute, you let him use?
Yeah, he has. I said, yeah, you can use it, man. I didn't have a problem with it. I said, just don't wreck it. But I'm gonna I got to show if he wrecks my truck, I'm fine. I think they first time the truck came out. I never went to prom. I ain't had a month.
Because I was so much younger than Constance, relatively speaking. I guess I didn't interact with her as much, maybe as Earl and Fred. But I can remember being in the 8th grade when Jerome was born. Constance and Hoochman got married, and I'm still a young teenager, and they got married. And Jerome came along, but I was dragging this guy around. I got a ducky. But my fond memory of Constance is I was still in junior high and high school when she and Hoochman got married. They lived in a Lauderdale sub, I believe, downtown, bad part of town now. But Garrett and Garrett, y'all didn't know him. He was my first cousin. Most people thought we were twins. But Garrett and I would spend a lot of weekends at that house right off of Parkway. And that was our fun thing. That was in the city, bunkers and stuff like that. So Garrett and I spent a lot of young teenage years with Constance Hoochman. And she would always have something to eat. We didn't have to worry. She had bologna, cold cuts, and all that kind of stuff, but you didn't have as much at home. So that's my fondest memories of the times that my first cousin and we all treat each other like brothers. It's like we had 7 or 8 sisters, brothers next door, and the ones here. And then when they moved on Horn Lake Road, I don't know if you were born then or not, Alfred.
I remember that phone, but I wasn't born.
Yeah, but we spent a lot of time spending the night and stuff with her. So she was very accommodating, welcoming and stuff. And I have fond memories about that time. And every now and then, a song will come on the radio, even now, that reminds me of Constance. And it brings tears to my eyes just to reminisce, to think about, that was for this immediate family the first time the tie was broken. And I thought about how well she raised her children and stuff like that, how accommodating she was with us. So now and then I hear a song and stuff that reminds me of her, that it brings tears to my eyes just to think about her. And when she was really getting down in health and stuff, I used to spend a lot of time there. We would listen to spiritual songs and stuff together. And those are the fond memories I have of her. Yeah.
I got 2 quick memories of Aunt Constance and Uncle Fred, and they knew not kind of related. Uncle Fred used to be the sleepiest deacon. Oh my, you used to look at Uncle Fred, boy, used to be in that chair. They had the comfortable chairs.
They had chairs up there by Everybody saw him.
And Aunt Constance led this one song. What song Aunt Constance lead all the time?
What song? Anytime he's calling me.
I can hear her voice when she lead. Aunt Constance led the song.
I can't remember.
It was the same song.
Mama probably know.
Your mom probably.
Yeah, my probably know.
And then the third thing was, I love being over Aunt Constance's house. Now, my mom and dad had car parties, and it was planned. But going over Aunt Constance's house, it wasn't even planned. It's just anything can happen. When Kenny came over and Paul and Kenny, man, I used to be in the back room because they had me in the back and I could hear everything going on outside. I'm like, man, they having a good time over here. I don't even know why I was over Aunt Constance's house all the time. At night, spend the night. I'm like, I don't know why I'm over here all the time.
They still young. Yeah, Mama was the oldest, so there was a big gap in between.
Yeah, I used to love being over Aunt Constance's house, but that's all I had to say.
Mario, I'll say something about Aunt Constance, but you just made me think of a Fred Jr., Uncle Fred Jr. memory. And I don't know if it was Youth Day, but Uncle Fred had to do an announcement. And he was I'm gonna get hold of the mic so I can do it. And it was me and Mario that cracked up the hardest. It was the thing about this big, Uncle Fred Jr.'s ring. He said, hold on a minute, let me get my glass. They was this big. Me and Mario fell on the podium. Oh my God, Mario fell up on the pew. I think I just looked down. We laughed about 15 minutes. And the thing was already huge. I told him not to buy them glasses.
Mom.
What song did that Constance lead at church?
What song did Constance lead at?
Over them all.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, girl, where the trash bags at? Empty trash.
Oh, and I get my memory of Aunt Constance. Like I said, she had a family house. Every speaker's been scooping up elementary school. And when I got older, I did end up moving in with them. But I remember being raised how they are. Her main thing was, I don't want to come between your parents or your mom and daddy. So make sure it's okay. I still got more approval, more so from mama than daddy, but I lived with them, and that was my Aunt Constance's house was my escape from home. Okay. And like I said, it was a neighborhood house. Everybody was always over there, yeah, I lived with them, and it's so ironic how Keisha wrote Uncle Fred Jr.'s obituary. I don't know if everybody remember, but I wrote Aunt Constance the same way. She was a teacher, so I wrote it like a story telling the class. And that's ironic. Out of all the kids, they were the only two who were teachers. And both of their obituaries are written like stories. But yeah, like I said, so many fond memories. But yeah, she was the neighborhood house. Oh, and I think the black Bonneville she had, her last car, she was the first person in the city to get it. I think one of her brothers may help to go get it, but she was the first one to have that style, Bonneville. So yeah, I love my influence.
We're gonna get ready to wrap it up with general stories about maybe being over here and about Big Mama and Big Daddy. And I can remember my fondest memory of coming over here is when it was hard for Big Daddy to get around, and he had the chair that would always lift up, and we were so fascinated by that chair because you just push the button and it lift you up. And every time I come in, of course, he'll say, "Oh, Kimberly Clark, oh, Kimberly Clark." I just love to hear him call me Kimberly Clark. And for with Big Mama, I put this on Facebook, how whenever we would spend a night over here, she would always change the sheets, and it was just a smell that her sheets had. And even the bathroom, I went in the bathroom to wash my hands earlier, and it smelled just like it smelled when we were coming over here growing up. It's a good smell. Yeah, it feels so comfortable, and it just feels like home. And I remember Big Mama being so quiet and so graceful, and she didn't have a lot of words to say, but her presence was always felt. Her presence was always felt.
Right, I can remember the only time that she really got on me. I told you about setting the paper and having change in my pocket. Well, I walked into the gymnasium, and my buddies was already there, and they was in the gymnasium flipping coins, you know. The boy reach out and flip corn. And when I saw them, I didn't know what they were doing. And evidently the teacher was watching them all the time. The minute I walked up to where they were, the teacher rushed them and took us all to the principal's office. So, of course, my daddy drove the school bus, so I know he was going to hear it. They were going to tell him at school. But when I got home, I broke the news to Big Mama first and told her what was going on. And she said, "They should have carried you to jail."
You thought she was going to say it, be a little bit more merciful with you. But no, they should have took you to jail.
Yeah, but we had a lot of, we had so much fun. As children, I guess that's the reason we passed it on. Because, you know, once we got to be adults, it wasn't hardly anything that Big Daddy and Big Mama wouldn't do for us.
Yeah. And that's the feeling I get from you all. I feel like I can call you all, and like when I asked you yesterday if we can come over here, I asked you out the blue, like, can we come over here and meet over here at 5 o'clock? You, I don't care. I would have been like, no, y'all ain't finna come over my house. We had all this going on this weekend. And even when I interviewed the sisters about Uncle Fred, they said the same thing about Uncle Fred. Whenever they asked to use his car, or if something happened with the car, he wouldn't say anything about it. You know, he'll just kind of, he might not do that with his kids, but he did, he did that with you all. Okay,
Well,
okay.
you never had to ask him.
Okay.
Fred would try to force it. If he found out something wrong with your car, he would almost force you to take it. And not only that, he would fill it up with gas and watch it before he bought it.
Oh, wow.
Bought it too.
Okay.
That's just the way he was.
And I know you didn't want to, the story. So I just the sense of Big Mom and Big Daddy, just being, if you into the yin and yang, or the true meaning of complimenting each other. And I remember like Big Mama and her moo sweeping the kitchen, or having Big Daddy's coffee ready. And for some, I don't know why it was a saucer under the cup.
He poured it in the saucer.
Yeah.
And drunk from the saucer.
Yeah, drunk from the saucer.
I did that, and I never knew why. I was like, why am I drinking from this saucer?
So,
whatever he did on the sauce, when he set the cup on the table, it'll slide, and I'd be like, I thought it was magic.
Yeah. So
all you have to do is ask. There's a reason for everything.
Okay, so what's the reason?
Cool.
They used to make coffee on the stove, piping hot.
Okay.
You pour it in the saucer, it was easy to cool it.
Oh,
You
'cause
blow
it was-
on it and cool
Oh,
it. Rather than trying to cool the whole cup.
Okay.
You hit that sauce, you blow on it. Yes.
Yeah. So I know that, and I remember, Big Mama being Phil, Big Daddy called Phil. I do remember that, and then like Kim was talking about, and I don't think anybody could get bed sheets as crisp and fitted and as perfect as Big Mama. And so even to this day, even when I make the bed, it's not there. Maybe it's because I think she had thicker sheets. I don't know what it was. Probably
Now you thought you should have saw your grandmama Tex bed. Now that was the perfect bed. Now Grandma Tex and Aunt Tex, the youngest daughter, lived with us when we first moved here. And Aunt Tex had her laughing and said, "Oh, Phil, told me to iron some sheets." I'm gonna iron it. But she used to iron her sheets.
She starch, bro. And then when y'all were talking about, just the family taking care. Jonathan, Apple was looking for you. Talking about the Escalator or something about the prom.
Oh, the expedition that we borrowed to go to the prom.
Yeah.
So make chose this one.
Man, I missed the whole last step right there.
Walk in the street.
Behind you.
Right, turn the light on so they might see me go outside.
Oh, that's it. And I was gonna say, just since this is being recorded, and for the generation, the grandchildren coming on, just for them to be able to witness, like we know what we saw with Big Mama and Big Daddy, the love. The love and the support, and hey, I got you, you got me, and even then the siblings having it the same way. And so I would just love for even our younger generations to be that same way with their parents, with their uncles, with their aunts, and just know that this is the tie, this is what we have, and just keep that going on. I know I've even had to call Jonathan before. Jonathan was there for me when I wanted getting my dad's car, the black car, and I was like, man, I need so and so and so and so or whatever. And I was like, Jonathan, because I had that trust or whatever, we be out of contract or whatever, and I paid him on time or whatever. But he's like, I got you, cuz, and just little things like that. He's like, okay. Even if I wouldn't go to my friends, as I said, I know I got family that's gonna have my back, and they're not gonna hound me or question like, why you need this, whatever. It's like, okay, or whatever you Tanya, okay, I need y'all understand this or whatever. Just going for, I don't know what's for or whatever, but I just appreciate the relationship that we have.
I don't want to be a spoiler, but those of us who are older know when you get anxious, you're anxious. So I can't sit around much longer without moving a little bit. And I want to get this in before I go and take care of some more business. And this is to my brothers. I'm a procrastinator. I think we all are procrastinators, but I think I'm the biggest one. And I have
brother laugh.
Oh yeah, he knows it's true. But anyway, I had bought these cards before these events and stuff. Going to mail them because I thought there was a significance in me mailing them instead of hand delivering them. And procrastinate. I never got around to mailing them. I generally always bought 2 for my brothers and 4 for the sisters. But anyway, I got this for my brothers now, and this is to Earl, why he live, give the flowers and stuff. So I would like to read these cards, what it say, and for this one, for my brother, Christmas is the beautiful time of year.
Wait.
When we it's what it say no matter what time of the year it is. For my brother, Christmas is the beautiful time of year when we think of family and friends with grateful hearts. Feeling especially thankful for you and the wonderful brother you are. Merry Christmas, Rufus.
Yeah.
Here's another one. This I think was Valentine's Day.
You're not the only one.
I love you, brother. The fact that it's Valentine's Day and that I'll put up with you my whole life gives me the right to say that. Have a good one. One more in the same year for my brother. Thanks for all the ways you have been a good brother, whether sticking close by my side or supporting me as I went my own way. I hope you'll know how much that means to me, how much I appreciate you. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah. 2 years.
This set here is for Fred. It's related, but you can put them with your cards. So those are for Fred. Earl has the same 3, but I only was able to find one of this one. And I didn't know how I was going to, which one I was going to give it to. But anyway, this one say, brother, growing up, we used to see each other all the time, some days. We probably even saw more of each other than we wanted to. These days, there's no way I could take our time together for granted. It's not given anymore, it's a gift. Our laughter is a gift, our history a gift. And so are you. Merry Christmas, Rufus. So these I would like to give to you, Earl.
Where's the beef?
I'll tell you what, that last check you said, I'll hold it a couple of weeks on.
Before you leave, before we wrap up, I want us to do a prayer, but I want the sisters. Y'all come up here right quick. We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a y'all can. All right, yeah, get in Gwen.
I'm gonna get Big Mama memory.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody ever seen Big Mama mad, but I have.
What?
Yeah, she was my Sunday school teacher. Hey, no, but she was mad at me. It wasn't her fault.
What your mother do?
What Big Mama do?
Dad do?
Oh, no. It was all me. She said something to me, and I didn't hear her, but she gave me a look. She gave me a look. I ain't never seen Big Mama give me the look before. But I just stopped what I was doing and I just sat there. Cause I'm like, why she looking at me like this? But I was acting up in class, but I didn't hear her tell me to stop. But when I looked around, she was looking. I felt her look. I felt the look. I got the only Big Mama look.
No, I didn't get the look. Me and Sean may be the only two that got a whooping, but it was my fault.
From Big Mama?
Yes. It was outside.
Turn your fault though.
It was my fault. But I think I did tell him. I finally apologized to him. It was all my fault. Me and Sean, Big Mama used to keep me and Sean. We were out back. It was more me than Sean playing with matches. And when Big Mama asked, I think she asked who was doing it. Of course, I said Sean. Yeah. But
Sean
because both of us would.
That's not his personality.
Show you right, Sean didn't say nothing.
But she still whooped both of us. So I think we the only two that ever got whooped.
To you. And she didn't remember fire now when it came to matches.
Yes. I can't remember what she whooped us with, but she did whoop us.
Did I see Gwen come in?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
Gwen.
right there.
Gwen.
You got another card. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just tell her.
You're gonna Gwen right here.
Okay, Gwen.
She got called.
I don't know if you got here in time for me to tell why Earl is just getting a Christmas card and a couple of Valentine cards and stuff like that. But I had one also for a wonderful brother and sister. Thinking of both of you at the holidays and remember the nice talks we've had, crazy things we've laughed about, happy times spent simply being together. Thinking about you, how great it is to be family. Merry Christmas, this you and Whit. He's like a brother. It's a little old.
Just seal it up and hold it a couple of months.
Yeah, just hold it.
Thank you, I will.
Pray for 2 months though. Either or. 2 months earlier, 2 months later.
All right. You got some more cards?
No, I'm through.
Rufus. Ain't Dorothy said we're hers, Mama's and ain't hers.
I got about 3 or 4 of them too. Valentine.
That's a good
I gave it to them.
I want to thank you all for participating. I want the sisters, if y'all may want to say anything to kind of round everything off. I know I already did an interview with the sisters and they told some really good stories about growing up together. But I wanted to give you all an opportunity to speak if you want to have anything to say. Then we're going to close with Uncle Earl praying us out.
The only thing I think we did say, I remember that the 4 of us slept in one room, and I don't know how many years that was. There was 2 full-size beds in one room. So we had the joy of having each other close. Maybe a little closer than we wanted to be, but no choice. So I thank God for even that. They have a room big enough for 4 people to sleep in.
My mom sitting there now.
She was already married. She was already married and gone.
She did Uncle Lucas said he was in the 8th grade.
Huh?
He was just in the 8th grade.
Just in the 8th grade when
But that's all I want to add that to the memory.
What do y'all remember, what do y'all remember about Mama being born? Because according to the sisters, they just knew that she appeared out of nowhere one day. And it was a joke that maybe the doctor had bought her in a bag or something. So now me and Matt call her bag baby.
I was going to say.
I just want to ask one
You remember?
question. When all 4 were sleeping in one room, were they taking a bath every night?
Y'all taking a bath every night?
On Saturday night.
Y'all take a bath once a week?
Once a week.
I tried to stretch so much.
Uncle Scooter to get the water.
Look, they would change the water every 2 weeks.
This is not to be recorded.
Well, like I said, we
For those who are just joining us, thank you all for participating in the interview. Thank you, Mario, for recording, Keisha for your equipment, and Uncle Earl for your home.
It's still what they call a home house.
It is. Headquarters.
But I'm gonna close this. This is the keepsake from Big Daddy, and that Big Daddy was sort of sporty. This was an expensive ring. I stole it one day and carried it to school. And they always say, diamond will cut glass. I've shown the boys and the girls my diamond ring. They didn't believe it. I was taking a scratch to one. Messing around that one day, one of my girls got it. And had it for like 3 days, didn't want to give it back. I was in a panic there for, I finally got it back.
Well, the person is, why do you have it now? Does it belong to the family?
No. If you can take
Let's pray. Okay, let's pray.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this assembly. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the love that's being shared. Heavenly Father, we understand that it will pass down from our parents down to us. And we ask the children to keep it going. One needs to lean on the other if it's necessary. We thank you for the bonding. We ask you to bless this house, bless each and every one of us, that we may return home safely, and keep in mind that we are family. Heavenly Father, lead prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Girl.